with great expedition when leaning back a moment and been thinking me of Mr. Hughes's clam and cod amusement. I thought I would try a little experiment. Stepping to the kitchen door, I entered the word cut with great emphasis and resumed my seat. In a few moments the savory steam came forth again, but with a different flavor, and in good time a fine cold shoulder was placed before us. Um, we resumed business, while playing our spoons in the bowl. Thinks I to myself, I wonder now if this here has any effects on the head. What's that Stolfin saying about shoulder head people? But look, Wicked, ain't that level in your bowl? Where's your harpoon? Finishest of all fishes places, what the tripods, which well deserved its the name. For the pots, there were always bowling shoulders, shoulder for the breakfast, shoulder for dinner, and shoulder for supper, till you began to look for fish bones coming through your clothes. The area before the house was paved with clamshells. Mr. Hussey wore polished a necklace of goldfish vertebrae, and Hosey Hussey had his account book bound in superior old shark skin. There was a fishy flavor to the milk, too, which I could not at all account for, till one morning, happening to take a stroll along the beach among some fishermen's boats, I saw Hosey brindle cold feeding on fish ferments and matching along the sand with each foot in a decapitated head, looking very slipshod, I assure ye. Supper concluded, we received the lamps and directions from Mr. Hussey concerning the nearest way to bed, but as Quicket was about to precede me up the stairs, the lady reached forth her arm and demanded his harpoon. She allowed no harpoon in her chambers. Why not? Said I. Every true Welshman sleeps with his harpoon, but why not? Because it's dangerous, says she. Ever since John Sticks coming from that NVT voyage of his, when he was gone for years and a half, with only 3 barrels of ale, was found dead in my first floor bag, with his harpoon in his eye. Ever since then I allowed no boarders to take such dangerous weapons in their room at night. So Mr. Quicket, for she had learned his name, I will just take here iron, and keep it for you till morning. But the chowder clam or cod tomorrow for breakfast, man. Both, said I, and let's have a couple of smoke herring by way of variety. Chapter 16. In bed we connected our plans for the morrow, but to my surprise and no small concern, Quicket now gave me to understand that he had been diligently consulting Jojo the name of his black little dog, and Jojo had told him 2 or 3 times over, and strongly insisted upon it every way, that instead of our going together among the whaling fleet in harbor, and in concert selecting our craft, instead of this, I say Jojo earnestly enjoined that the selection of the ship should rest wholly with me, inasmuch as Jojo proposed befriending us, and in order to do so had already pitched upon a vessel, which, if led to myself, I, Ismael, shall infallibly lighting up for all the world as started it, had turned it out by chance, and in that vessel I must immediately ship myself. For the present, respective of Quicket, I have forgotten to mention that in many things Quicket placed great confidence in the excellence of George's judgment, surprising forecast of things, and cherished Jojo with considerable esteem as a rather good sort of God, who perhaps meant well enough upon the whole, but in all cases did not succeed in his benevolent designs. Now, this plan of Quicket's, or rather Jojo's, touching the selection of our craft, I did not like that plan at all. I had not a little relied upon Quicket's sagacity to point out the whaler best fitted to carry us and our fortunes secretly. But as all my remonstrances produced no effect upon Quicket, I was obliged to acquiesce and accordingly prepared to set about this business with a determined sort of energy and vigor that should quickly settle that trifling little affair. Next morning, early leaving that trifling little Quicket shut up with Jojo in our little bedroom, for it seems that it was some sort of Lent or Ramadan or day of fasting, humiliation, and prayer with Quicket and Jojo that day. How it was I never could find out, for thought I applied myself to it several times. I never could master his literalities and uh 100 articles, leaving Quicket then fasting on his tomahawk pipe, and Jojo's warming himself at his sacrificial fire of shavings. I sailed out among the shipping. After much prolonged sauntering and many random inquiries, I learned that there were 3 ships upon for 3 years' voyages. The Devil Dam, the Tea-Beat, and the Puckwood. Devil Dam. I do not know the origin of Tea-Beat is obvious. Puckwood, you will no doubt remember, was the name of a celebrated tribe of Massachusetts Indians, now extinct as the ancient Meadows. I peer and pray about the Devil Dam from her hope over to the Titbeat, and I finally go on board the Peckwood, looking around her for a moment, and then decided that this was the very ship for us. You may have seen many quaint craft in your day, for aught I know, square tall lungers, mountainous Japan is junk, but better bugs, galleots, and what not. But take my word for it, you never saw such a rare old craft as this. Same rare old Peckwood. She was a ship of the old school, rather small, if anything, with an old-fashioned, claw-footed look about her. Long seasoned and weather-stained in the typhoons and calms of all 4 oceans, her old whose complexion was dark, like a French grenadier who has alike fought in Egypt and Siberia. Her venerable bows looked weird. Her masts cut somewhere on the coast of Japan, where her original ones were lost overboard in gale. Her mast stood stiffly up like the spines of the 3 old kings of Column. Her ancient decks were worn and wrinkled like the pilgrim worship flagstone in the Canterbury Cathedral where Becket bled. But to all these her old antiquities were added new and marvelous features pertaining to the wild business that for more than half a century she had followed. Old Captain Peleg, many years her chief mate, and before he commanded another vessel of his own, and now retired seaman, and one of the principal owners of the Peckwood. This old Peleg, during the term of his chief mates, had built inlet in all over with a quietness both of material and device unmatched by anything except in B. Thornkill Hakes in carved buckler or bedstead. She was apparelled with like any barbarous Ethiopian emperor, his neck heavy with pendants of polished ivory. She was a thing of trophies, a cannibal of crafts, tricking herself forth in the chaste bones of her enemies. All round her, unappelled upon bulwarks, were garnished like one continuous jaw, with all the long sharp teeth of the sperm whale inserted there for pins to fasten her old hempen thews and tendons to. Those thews ran not through based blocks of land wood, but deftly traveled over sheaves of sea ivory, scorning a turnstile wheel at her reverend helm. She sported there a tiller, and that tiller was in one mass curiously carved from the long, narrow ivory jaw of her hereditary foe. The helmsman who steered by that tiller in a tempest felt like the Tartar when he holds back in fury by clutching its jaw, a noble craft, but somehow most melancholy. All noble things are touched with that. Now, when I look about the prospect, but for someone having authority in order to propose myself as candidate for the voyage, at first I saw nobody, but I could not well overlook a strange sort of tent, or rather wigwam, pitched a little behind the main mast. It seems only a temporary erection used in port. It was of a conical shape, some 10 feet high, consisting of the long huge slabs of limber black bone taken from the middle and highest part of the jaws for the of the right whales, planted with their broad ends on the deck. A circle of these slabs laced together, mutually sloped towards each other, and at the apex united in a toothed point where the loose hairy fibers waved to and fro like the top note on some old Potawatomi Sakim's head, a triangular opening faced towards the bows of the ship so that the insider commanded a complete view forward. Sort of far at all, he never moved his lips. All these strange antics were accompanied by still stranger guttural noises from the devotee, who seemed to be praying in a sing-song or else singing some pagan psalmody or other, during which his face twitched about in the most unnatural manner. At last, extinguished the fire, he took the idol up very unceremoniously and banged it again in his greggle pocket as carelessly as if he were a sportsman bagging a dead woodcock. All these queer proceedings increased my uncomfortableness, and seeing him now exhibiting strong symptoms of concluding his business operations and jumping into a bed with me, I thought it was a high time, now or never, before the light was put out, to break the spell in which I had so long been bound. But the interval I spent in deliberating what to say was a fatal one. Taking up his tomahawk from the table, he examined the head of the bed of it for an instant, and then holding it to the light with his mouth at the table, he puffed out to the light with his mouth great clouds of tobacco smoke. The next moment the light was extinguished, and this wild cannibal, tomahawk between his teeth, sprang into bed with me. I sank out. I could not help it now, and giving a sudden groan of astonishment, he began feeling me, stammering out something I knew not what. I rolled away from him against the wall, and then conjured him away from whoever or whatever he might be, to keep quiet and let me get up and light the lamp again. But his guttural responses satisfied me at once that he but ill comprehended my meaning. "Who o' devil you?" he at last said. "You non-speaky, damn me, I kill it." And so, saying the lighted tomahawk, "Landlord, for God's sake!" "Peter Coffin," shouted landlord, "watch, Coffin, angel save me, speaky, tell it, and who be or damn me, I kill it." The tomahawk scattered the hot tobacco ashes about me till I thought my linen would get on fire, but Thank heaven. At that moment the landlord came into the room, light in hand, and leaping from the bed, I ran up to him. "Don't be afraid now," said he, grinning again. "Quicket here wouldn't harm a hair of your head." "Stop your grinning," shouted I. "And why didn't you tell me that the infernal harpooner was a cannibal?" "I thought ya know it. Didn't tell ya he was a peddling heads around town? But turn flokes again and go to sleep. Quicket, look here. You save me. I save you. This man sleep you. You save him? You save me? Me save plenty," grunted Quicket, puffing away at his pipe and sitting up in bed. "You get it in," he added, motioning to me with his tomahawk and throwing the clothes to one side. He really did this in not only a civil but really kind of charitable way. I stood looking at him a moment. For all these tattooings, he was on the whole a clean, comely looking a cannibal. "What's all this fuss I have been making about?" thought I to myself. "The man's a human being just as I am. He has just as much reasons to fear me as I have to be afraid of him. Better sleep with a sober cannibal than drunken Christian." Landlord said, "I tell him to stash his tomahawk there, or pipe, or whatever you call it. Tell him to stop smoking, in short, and I will turn with him." Her ancient decks were worn and wrinkled, like the pilgrim worship flagstones in Canterbury Cathedral, where Becket bled, but to all these her old antiquities were added new and marvelous features, pertaining to the wild business that for more than a half century she had followed. Old Captain Peleg, many years her chief mate, before her commanded another vessel of his own, and now a retired seaman and one of the principal owners of the Packwood. This old Peleg, during the term of the chief mateship, had built upon her original robustness, and inlaid it all over with a quietness, both of material and device, unmatched by anything except it be Thornkill, Hakes, Carbuncle of or bedstead. She was apparelled like any barbaric Ethiopian emperor, his neck heavy with pendants of polished ivory. She was a thing of trophy, a cannibal of craft, striking herself forth in the chased bones of her enemies. All round her unimpaled open bulwarks were garnished like one continuous jaw with the long sharp teeth of the sperm whale, inserted there for pins to fasten her old hempen thews and tendons to. Those thews ran not through base blocks of lang wood, but deftly travelled over sheaves of sea ivory, scorning a turnstile wheel at her revered helm. She sported there a tiller, and that tiller was in one mast curiously carved from the long, narrow lower jaw of the hereditary foe. The helmsman who steered by that tiller in a tempest felt like the Tartar when he holds back his fiery steed by clutching its jaw. A noble craft, but somehow a most melancholy. All noble things are touched with that. Now when I look about the quarter-deck for some one having authority in order to propose myself as a candidate for the voyage, at first I saw nobody, but I could not well overlook a strange sort of tent, or rather wigwam, pitched a little behind the mainmast. It seemed only a temporary erection used in ports. It was of a conical shape, some 10 feet high, consisting of the long huge slabs of limber black bones taken from the middle and the highest part of the jaws of the right whale, planted with their broads, and on the deck a circle of these slabs laced together mutually sloped towards each other, and at the apex united in a tufted point where the loose hairy fibers waved to and fro like the thumb note on an old Potawatomi sachem head, a triangular opening faced towards the bows of the ships, so that the insider commanded a complete view forward. And half concealed in this queer tenement, I at length found one who by his aspect seemed to have authority, and who, it being noon and the ship's work suspended, was now enjoying respite from the burden of command. He was seated on an old-fashioned oaken chair, wriggling all over with curious curving, and the bottom of which was formed of a stout interlacing of the same elastic stuff of which the wigwam was constructed. There was nothing so very particular, perhaps, about the appearance of the elderly man I saw. He was brown and browny, like most old seamen, and having rolled up in blue pilot clothes cut in quarter style, only was a fine and almost microscopic network of the minutest wrinkles interlacing round his eyes, which must have arisen from his continual sailings in many hard scales, and always looking to windwards. For this causes the muscles about the eyes to be compressed together. Such eye wrinkles are very effectual in a school. "Indeed, the captain of the packwood," said I, advancing to the doctor of the tent. "Supposing it be the captain of the packwood, what dost thou what of him?" he demanded. "I was thinking of shipping." "Thou wast thou? I see thou art not an Nantucker, ever being in a boat." "No, sir, I never have." "Dost know nothing at all about whaling, I dare say, eh?" "Nothing, sir, but I have no doubt I shall soon learn. I've been several voyages in the merchant service, and I think that merchant service be damned." "Talk not that lingo to me. Don't see that leg? I'll take that leg away from thee stern, if ever thou talkest of the merchant service to me again." "Merchant service, indeed. I suppose now you'll feel considerable proud of having served in those merchant ships. But flukes, man, what makes thee want to go a whaling, eh? It looks like suspicious, don't it? Has not being a pirate has thought? Didst not rob thy last captain, didst thou? Dost not think of murdering the officer when you gettest to sea? I protest my innocence of these things. I saw that under the mask of this half-humorous inodus, this old seaman, as an insulated quakerish Nantucker, was full of his insular prejudices and rather distrustful of all aliens unless they hail from Cape Cod or the Vineyard. "But what takes thee of whaling? I want to know that before I think of shipping ye." "Well, sir, I want to see what whaling is. I want to see the world. What to think what whaling is, Have you a eye on the Captain Ahab?" "Who is Captain Ahab, sir?" I thought so. Captain Ahab is the captain of the ship." I am mistaken then. I thought I was speaking to the captain himself. Thou art speaking to Captain Peleg. That's who you are speaking to, young man. It belongs to me and Captain Bildet to see the Pequod fitted out for the voyage and supplied with all her needs, including crew. We are part owners and agents, but as I was going to say, if thou wantest to know what whaling is, as thou tellest, do I can put in a way of finding it out before you bind yourself to it. Pass by canal, clap eye on Captain Ahab, young man, and thou wilt find that he has only one leg." "What do you mean, sir?" "What, the other one lost by a whale." "Lost by a whale, young man? Come nearer to me." "It was devoured, chewed up, crunched by the monstrous permacety that ever shipped a boat." I was a little alarmed by this energy, perhaps also a little touched at the hearty grief in his concluding exclamation, but said as calmly as I could. What you say is not that true enough, sir. But how could I know there was any peculiar ferocity in that particular whale? That indeed I might have inferred as much, but the simple fact of the accident. Look, yeah, no, young man, the lungs are sort of soft. Do you see? Though dost not talk shark a bit. Sure, you have been to sea before now. Sure of that, sir? Said I. I thought I told you that I had been 4 voyages in the merchant. Hard down of that. Mind what I said about the merchant service. Don't aggravate me, I won't have it. But let us understand each other. I have given them a hint about what whaling is. Dude, yeah, feeling clear for it? I do, sir. Very good.